Cool. So, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for our webinar today. Clearly, this is a very relevant topic. Lots of you are joining us, and that's great to see. We've got a really diverse group of professionals, academia, consultants, providers. So it's really nice to have you all with us today, and I'm sure you can learn a lot from each other. So please don't hesitate to participate in the chat as we go along. As you can see, we're talking today about AI agents in the innovation management process. My name is Elliot Wilkins. I'm a marketing manager for Qmarkets, and I'm joined today by some experts. Oh, it's skipping ahead already. Got excited. So these are our wonderful speakers for today. Selina, Yoel, would you like to say hello, introduce yourselves? Maybe share one quick fact about yourselves, something you like to do outside of work?
Yes, I can start. So hi, everybody. My name is Selina. I have worked for several years as an idea manager in the automotive industry. And I also did my dissertation or doctoral degree in ideation systems. And I focused on strategies, how to get actually better ideas. And I'm very happy to be here to present one of our recent research projects. And next to working, actually, I love spending time with my son.
Yeah. Lovely. That's a great answer.
Hope you all can beat it.
Yeah, we're excited for Yoel's answer.
Yeah, Yoel here. I'm product director and innovation strategist at Qmarkets. Already had all kind of roles at Qmarkets for over a decade now, and that gave me the opportunity to work and talk to more than 1,000 teams, innovation teams around the world. And of course, in the past few years, the AI topic kicked in, and when I got contacted by Selina a few months ago about her research, it was of course a very exciting topic for both Qmarkets and myself. So outside of work, I'm engaged in youth groups and youth camps, and to get as far away from technology and AI as I can. So
nice. Great. Well, thanks so much both for being here. Really appreciate you sharing some insights with us all today. And of course, if any of you have questions throughout, please post them here in the chat or in the Q&A section, and we'll keep an eye out, or maybe I'll jump in if there's a particularly timely question. Let's move on to the agenda. Okay, it's a bit slow, but you can see it now, I hope. So this is our schedule for today. We'll start off with some background on Qmarkets and the field that we're talking about throughout this session. Then Selina will guide us through the evolution of ideation with some background on her research. Then we'll dive into the 5 AI agents that Selina has identified in her research, and Yoel will share some practical applications for each agent, especially how we do it at Qmarkets with our software. And then we'll have a demo, a quick walkthrough of some of those features live in the tool itself before a Q&A at the end. We do also have an exciting competition today, so I'll share some more details on that shortly, but there'll be a chance to win up to $250 in Amazon gift cards. So pretty nice prize on the line. Hopefully we can get some submissions from you all. But for now, let's introduce you to Qmarkets. So for those of you who aren't familiar with us, we are an innovation software company specializing in impact. So we've worked with a lot of companies over the years, lots of big global brands, to generate some incredible results across many different use cases. So that covers idea management, technology scouting, portfolio management, continuous improvement. These are our core use cases, but today we're focusing mainly around idea management and specifically the AI agents in the idea management process. So just to make sure we're on the same page, this is a quick summary of an average idea management process. This isn't definitive. This is kind of our best practice that lots of our customers use as an overall workflow funnel for idea management and ideation. And just to quickly cover those stages. So on the left, this is the beginning or the top of the funnel. Where you start with a challenge. You start with evaluating the needs for innovation or the challenges that your team are facing across the company and creating a call for ideas or an idea hackathon to gather solutions and suggestions from your team. You would then have a brainstorming stage with some collaboration where you open the ideas up for discussion and gather thoughts from your different employees usually, but it could also be customers or any audience really. Then there's always an evaluation stage where you filter the best ideas, the best solutions, and identify which ones are going to actually bring impact for your business. Then you move on to implementation, where you bring that idea to life. You set up experiments, incubation, project management to actually try and implement that across your business. And finally, there's usually tracking. Well, there should be tracking to make sure you're keeping aware of the actual impact that's being delivered and how it's affecting your company. So this is a quick overview, and this is kind of the framework that we'll be using throughout the session, just to refer back to AI agents and how they are relevant across these different stages. So next up, let's just go back. First of all, we have a very quick poll. We want to just learn a bit more about you, about the people that are on this session today. So we want to ask you what your level of experience is with AI in your idea management process currently. So just give me a moment and you should see a poll on your screen now. So pretty standard options here at the top if you're using AI extensively in your idea management. It could also be your innovation process, but we are focusing on idea management today. And then towards the bottom, if you're really not using and not planning on using AI in your innovation process. So yeah, we'll give you a few seconds to choose one of these. I see that we're getting a lot of answers already, so that's great. And we'll share the results with you shortly so you can all see and get an idea of who's in the room with you today. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're seeing a mix. It's nice to see that nobody out of everybody chose the no option, that everybody's at least open to the idea of using AI in their innovation process, and most of you are using it already to some degree. Selina, Yoel, does that reflect what you're seeing in your experience with the market?
Yes, at least what I see now, but I would say 1 or 2 years ago, this picture has been completely different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's very true. It's definitely only continuing to grow. So thanks everyone for that. And I think this is where I hand over to you, Selina, right? Let me try and jump to the next slide. Yep. So this is over to you.
Yes, I will give you now some background information regarding the research we have been doing, and also later I will show you the research findings, and then Yoel will provide you some practical implications based on the Qmarkets software. And the conceptual input for this presentation is actually based on a recently published paper in the Journal of Product and Innovation Management, and this paper is available open access. So if you want, you can download it after this webinar. And actually here research is quite similar to idea generation, because the best ideas or projects emerge if you team up. So this research is actually not my work, but it's the work of many talented scholars that participated. Yeah. And let's start first with some background information on actually the evolution of ideation systems and how idea management systems have changed over time. So on the very, very left, we have this traditional ideation systems. We called it the ideation 1.0. And this is actually where idea management has started. This mostly appeared in the context of incremental process improvements. We rather had very passive systems, meaning we had limited exchange possibilities among users. And this was more like a virtual letterbox where somebody could submit an idea, it was evaluated, and maybe in case it was implemented, it got rewarded. And here we had 3 key users. We had the ID manager, so the person that administrates the system, the idea generator, and the idea evaluator. And then after a few decades, wiki technologies and Web 2.0 technologies have also revolutionized idea management systems. And then this led to so-called moderated or community-based systems. And here we really saw interactive community features for commenting others' ideas or for voting for others. And then also a new role emerged, namely those peers, or we also call them contributors. So those are other people who can comment or vote for others' ideas. And also so-called moderators emerged. Moderators, they act as mini idea managers, and they are responsible for individual campaigns and, for instance, guide discussions around an idea. And actually, depending on the type of ideation system, there might be also other users like sponsors or coaches or mentors. But we focused on key users as they are displayed here. And actually, there's a very, very nice research from a scholar called Michela Beretta. And she investigated how those moderators or community-based systems help to overcome those problems of traditional ideation systems. But actually, many, many pains or challenges still exist. And this was now the focus of our new research, focusing on AI-based ideation systems and how those systems would be able to relieve the pains or challenges of those moderated or community-based ideation systems. And this was also the research question we focused on. And when we started actually this research, it was 2022 or 2023. And we were very excited about finding a company that has experience with AI, but there was not much there on the market. So we changed our strategy and then focused on conceptualizing an AI-based system. Meaning the idea was to develop kind of a new product, to conceptualize a new product. And for that purpose, we used this value proposition canvas approach from Osterwalder. And this canvas, I will shortly explain it here, consists of customer profiles. Thank you. On the right side, we named it stakeholder or user profiles. So normally you describe here what are the jobs of the stakeholder. So what has the idea evaluator to do? What has the idea manager to do? And you also think about how people gain from their work. Mostly their gains will be functional, they get compensation, but it can be also emotional. Like you might get recognition as an idea manager if your system works very, very well. And then what was the core? We also looked into the pains. So what are the pains of stakeholders in today's moderated or community-based system? And here we really try to identify universal generic pains that would fit multiple users. And then on the left side, we defined this value proposition. And here actually AI and AI agents come into play because we try to identify how AI could act as pain relievers. And in this regard, we developed generic AI agents that fit multiple stakeholders. And we used many, many different sources to answer those Canvas questions. So to identify those stakeholder profiles, we did the literature review, we did company interviews. Then to define the role of AI or those AI agents, we again did expert interviews and we used a lot of secondary data. Then further, we did focus group workshops to verify the sources from our first interviews, and also to ensure that in the middle there is this problem solution fit. This means that what we have defined really helps to relieve the stakeholders from the pains. And then after we have done all this task, it was 2024. And luckily, many companies, or some more companies, then had experience with AI. And we also then did some research on practical examples of companies with AI usage in order to additionally define implementation strategies for companies for implementing AI agents. And I will be also presenting them later on. Okay, now you have to move from the picture, or you have to give me.
Yeah, all done. Yeah.
Thank you. So what did we end up? We ended up with many, many pages of interview transcripts and more than 1,000 minutes of audio material. And what we did is we structured and analyzed this material in a very, very systematic manner with the aim to really identify those generic universal pains that account for various stakeholders of idea management systems, so for idea manager, idea evaluator, and also to identify those generic AI agents. And the interview partners or participants, they all emphasize that AI can actually serve as a supporter, enabler, or facilitator, but that AI would not be capable of completely replacing the responsibility of any stakeholder. Simply, that time there was too little trust in the technology, but also in the capabilities of the technology. And actually, this understanding of an AI agent is also conform to the definition from OECD, which says that an AI agent acts as a software entity that can perform tasks to a varying degree of autonomy, but not fully autonomously, so always the concept having the human in the loop. And before we review some very, very interesting research findings, I hand over to Elliot because we have something really cool going on here.
Thank you very much, Selina. Yeah, that's a great introduction. So like I mentioned earlier on, we have some gift cards to give away, and we want to do something fun. We want to invite you all to create an AI-generated image of your ultimate AI innovation agent. So think about how an AI agent could support your innovation process. We've got a playful example here. Everybody needs coffee to stay awake, but we want to see what you can come up with AI, and it's just a fun excuse to play around with the features. You can now even shoot ChatGPT a WhatsApp message with a prompt and generate an image that way. So it's super easy. And after a week, we'll check which post on LinkedIn has the most likes, and they'll earn a $200 gift card, and our team's favorite will earn a $50 gift card. So please, yeah, have a go. Post something, tag us with the hashtag AI Innovation Agent, and let's see what you can come up with. We like to test the power of the crowds, so this is a good chance to do that and see what you guys can create. So you've got 1 week after the conclusion of this session. So yeah, get creating.
So great, thank you, Elliot. So, and now we will move on with the findings from our research. So we will introduce you the 5 AI agents and the 5 pains related to those AI agents that we have investigated. And for each agent, Yoel will provide you then with a practical example in the Qmarkets software. Okay, so the first agent is actually the inspire, and it relates to the creativity pain. So here it could be lack of problem-solving skills, or maybe lack of divergent thinking or other creative skills that are present. So for instance, it could be that an idea generator faces a problem, but actually lacks a solution, or it could be also that an idea generator is biased in generating ideas due to cognitive fixation. So this often happens when people have had a very successful idea. They try to repeat their success and produce similar ideas again. Or it could be also that an idea manager has no time to set up a creative campaign, and the outcome in the end lacks attention. And here, AI inspires actually content creation by providing impulses or inspiring input or initial ideas. So it usually does give you a first idea, a first concept as a starting point. But most of the participants mentioned that it's not a ready-made idea, so you still have to do some fine-tuning. And now Yoel provides you some practical insights on how this is implemented.
Yeah. So how Qmarkets uses the Inspire, basically, it supports users directly at the idea submission stage. This is one example. For example, by helping them turn vague thoughts into concrete proposals, or really drafted out ideas and use cases that are contextual to the company's strategic goals, to the actual campaign, and so on. And as you can see on the screen, it provides tailored prompts and suggestions. We will see that in action also in the end, to really make it a good fit and very good context. And in the process flow here, we can see that this agent appears mainly in the challenge brief and setting up the challenge for the moderator, and then for the submitter and for the peers in the brainstorming phase, but eventually, of course, all over the process.
Okay, thank you, Yoel. So now we will move on with the second AI agent, which is the Stylist. And the Stylist tackles the content formulation pain. So this is the challenge of correctly formulating a text to ensure that the information is properly understood, or that it might be engaging or appealing, or that it fits the language of the target group. So many idea generators could be very good thinkers, but they are not good in selling their ideas. Or it could be that an idea evaluator lacks time to properly formulate the feedback, or the moderator or idea manager has no time to make or describe an appealing campaign. So here it's really not changing the core message, it's more about changing the packaging of something. And here the Stylist comes into action, because the Stylist reformulates existing content in a way to make it more understandable, to make it appealing to others, by changing only the presentation of a message, but not its meaning. And actually, when we did the interviews or the focus groups, many people mentioned this as a key problem, or as the key pain, because they said, okay, creativity is actually there. So people have ideas, but many have issues to put their ideas on the paper. And when you think about the whole ideation process, this pain or or the stylist is very important, because in the very, very beginning, if you make mistakes in formulating the campaign properly, this affects in the end, of course, the overall outcome. And because of that, this stylist was mentioned as a very, very important starting point when using AI in your ideation systems. And here, Qmarkets also provides some solutions.
You're on mute, Yoel. You might need to. There we go.
Okay. Yeah. So here we can see that the stylist, it enhances the quality, again, of either campaign brief, of an idea, of a comment, improving the clarity, improving the tone, make a better pitch out of the idea, like Selina said, sell it. And these suggestions are directly available right here in the text field to polish it accordingly. And of course, it comes together with images that you can make a design to your idea or to the campaign brief or to the project that you're submitting. Across the ideation process, we can see that the stylist is coming in, again, mainly in the creation of challenges or ideas in the brainstorm phase, but also, of course, very helpful to the evaluator role.
So thank you, Yoel. And then we move on with the Matchmaker. And the Matchmaker solves the universal search pain. So this is the problem that you might lack knowledge or expertise or an overview, which actually leads to a very, very high search effort. So, for instance, as an idea submitter, you need to find the proper team members, or as an idea manager, you need to find decision makers for evaluating the idea. Or as moderator of a campaign, you might need to find people to comment on ideas to help them develop further. Or if you are an idea evaluator, you might need to gather further information in order to take decisions. And the outcome of this pain is actually that you lose a lot of time as part of this search process. And here then the matchmaker comes into action, because this matchmaker connects the stakeholders with information and or the people who in the end have this information at hand. And here are also some nice features in the Qmarkets software present.
Yeah, so here we can see basically that Matchmaker connects users with and ideas with the right people based on the experience of these specific users, or based on their profiles that we know from Active Directory, or we know from their own profile that they manage, their skill sets, their interests. And instead of now having someone look for experts or evaluators or so around 10,000 users or employees, it really brings them up right away. And afterwards, we will also see how that works with similar content, with similar projects, with incoming trends, and so on, how this is connected then as well. So this is mainly, the Matchmaker mainly kicks in brainstorming phase and in the tracking and controlling. But again, as all the others, they can be used in all of the stages of the ideation process.
So thank you, Yoel. Then let's move on to the Analyst. So the Analyst tackles the analytical pain. So this is the problem of correctly analyzing, evaluating, and interpreting information, actually. And here we also have some examples across different stakeholders. For instance, if you want to start a campaign, you need to know the field where you would like to do the campaign. So you might have to analyze the environment, understand the pains of your organization. Also, when you are an idea evaluator, you might need to analyze complex idea proposals, which creates a heavy workload. And here also the evaluators often, in research, we say they often suffer from a bias. So they could suffer, for instance, from a novelty bias. This means that they evaluate very novel, complex ideas bad because they could lead to a lot of workload. And they also often suffer from a familiarity bias. And this familiarity bias means that they tend to evaluate ideas more positively with which they are actually familiar with. And this analyst can, in the end, help you to interpret and evaluate complex information more objectively and provides you some recommendations. And here, Yoel has also some very nice examples.
Yeah, so here in this example, we had a specific client. They wanted to check and analyze all their ideas for certain challenges and difficulties in implementing those. Again, with the background of who their company is, what are their resources, what are their capabilities, who are their markets, and so on, and what would be the regional fit for each of these for each of the regions for that specific idea. And this basically gives then again the evaluator the background to further assess. And again, we can see in the demo afterwards on how these could look, because there are many, many more use cases as our clients can configure and control the agents independently.
Okay.
So they are coming in evaluation, implementation, and tracking controlling. Again, mainly because it's really deeper analysis, thinking, and preparing basically the work for the next stakeholder of the idea.
Okay, and we have one more pane and AI agent to cover before Yoel will make the live demo. And this is the organizer. And the organizer helps to overcome the administration pain. So those are mainly ongoing administration tasks to maintain, for instance, the system. And those are very minor organizational tasks that if you add them up, they make up a significant workload for everyone. For instance, in case you do not get any response from idea evaluators. As an idea manager, you always have to push, and call the people or write them emails. And often it is the case that the standard email reminders, they are simply ignored, and then you have to approach the people again. Or you have to book meetings to discuss ideas with the ideators. And all those simple, tiny tasks, also onboarding new people to the systems, they in the end add up to a very heavy workload. And here, the organizer can help you actually doing the job.
Yeah, so this one is a classic where we use the clustering right here and as part of the organizer agent. And what you can see here is AI-generated clustered maps. The group submitted ideas based on machine clusters. The sizes are aligned, and of course, you have additional filters and segmentation that you can zoom into those. And again, also that we will see in the actual demo. I'll just skip quickly. So across the process, again, mainly in the second part of the process, evaluation, implementation, tracking, and mainly in the controlling part of it, where the organizer kicks in. So now we are getting into the ideation 3.0 walkthrough. how clients are using it, Qmarkets clients are using it. And as we can see, again, the agents that Selina identified, they are coming into place all over the process. So this is just one model, but eventually every client has its own specifics, what kind of agency they actually want to engage, how they train them, and accordingly it looks different from client to client. So I share now my screen with the actual demo. So right here we see a form of a campaign question, or basically a business need that I already prepared. We do have in the backend information about the company we are working with. And so we have here the campaign question, and of course I can rephrase it, I can simplify it, I can, like in the canvas that you possibly know. By the way, we had the canvas before OpenAI had it. You can here refine, simplify, make it more concise, or any other request. You can edit, and you can see it's updating very quickly. So this is the stylist we are using here to do these changes. Of course, I can also use any text that I want to make it only 3 bullets or whatever. And also as part of it, we are using image creation. What we found is that both ideas, needs, trends, whatever is being submitted by humans, they typically do not have images or just static placeholder images. So it's just more engaging if we use the stylist to create images for these contents. So this is an overview how it could look. We have the image here. We can, of course, also add a banner here in the same way. And the whole brief is properly styled with the relevant details that we needed and with the actual training that we have in the backend. Then the Inspirer here, we use it as a submitter. So basically, I just generate an idea. Basically, either I don't have an idea at all, or I have a very, very brief idea, like in this example, an AI-powered shelf life predictor for for products. Okay, so how long would the shelf life be of a certain product? And based on that, I can see, okay, it came up with basically how that idea could work. So this is the Inspirer here. It really gives me relevant insights. Also, again, looking at the company's background, doing the proper research, and then coming up as an Inspirer. Next up, we see already here the Matchmaker. You can see the Matchmaker is showing also already to the submitter existing projects, existing needs, business needs, existing industry trends or ideas that I can check out in detail, of course. And instead of now submitting my own, I can go there and start contributing to the existing one. So the Matchmaker also kicks in when I want to, for example, assign a certain user. Typically, our clients, they have automations, which are, of course, very clearly configured. Any idea from Italy should go to a certain evaluator, for example. But not all of our clients have that. So the matchmaker here is very good that we saw before, that says, okay, these people are free, they have skills, they have interests to work on this project. Now, for the analyst, in my opinion, this is the one we really give a lot of value to our clients. So let's say I'm now the evaluator of this idea. The idea comes to me and I need to give in my evaluation. Typically, what is being done, there is a certain text that a reviewer or an evaluator fills in. But what we give now is we can really already map the whole form without being kind of anxious if this form is really being filled in, because it's already pre-filled. So what we can see here, the strategic innovation goal already has been selected automatically based on the whole context, based on the context of the campaign brief of this idea and the whole training we did for that client, that the client can do by himself very simply. We define a business impact. What would be the impact here? This is a very simple selection, but already afterwards in the organization and organizer, it already helps a lot. There's already an estimated idea value, either in dollars or whatever currency you have. This actually is still, as you could guess, is still not very accurate. It is a pretty good number, but here and there are issues. So it's of course always important for evaluators to review. We take a look at challenges and difficulties or a feasibility assessment. We have ROI and impact prediction. About this specific project, we have the regional fit like we saw before. So all of these are examples of agents, but as our clients can create very easily their own agents, they all differ very much from each other. So now all the evaluator needs to do, he needs to review it, to change where needed, and submit it. And what then comes out is the organizer, because it helps basically with all these agents together, it helps to put all these ideas, projects, trends, partnerships, etc., that are in our innovation ecosystem, it helps to put them on the map. So before, the issue was users or employees or evaluators, they do not keep up with the work, they do not fill in all these fields, and based on that, we do not have the information to actually track it properly. So now there is already, from the initial submission, we already have information that we can use, which is by now already to 90% accurate. And of course, the clustering that we saw before is also an organizer that helps us to find certain insights that we didn't see before. So all of these tags that we can see here, they are not human prepared. They are actually machine learned and based on whatever segment I use or filter I use, there would be different clusters coming up. So I'll go back to my screen.
Okay, and now let's move on maybe with a discussion question, or if you want, you can put your answers in the chat. So many of you have mentioned that they have already experience with AI in ideation systems. So let us know about your benefits you have experienced in this regard.
Yep, so feel free to add those directly in the chat and we'll cover those in a few minutes. But Selina, I think that you have another slide which also covers some of those. So maybe to get people's juices flowing, you can share your experience in that area.
Yes, actually, when coming back to this value proposition canvas, this what you can see here is the final conceptualized model of AI in ideation systems. So on the left side, we have this AI agents, and on the right side, we have this universal panes. And we also confirmed this problem solution fit through the focus group and also through the mini case studies we did. And we also tried to understand what potential AI has in terms of benefits or gain creators. And here we identified many benefits like improving process efficiency, saving time, maybe also increasing people's inspiration or motivation and awareness. But it could also help in reducing those evaluation biases that I have mentioned. And in the end, if you use it properly, could actually help you in increasing idea quantity and quality, and in this regard also the likelihood of an idea's implementation success. I don't know, Elliot, if you would also repeat some benefits the crowd mentioned in the chat.
Sure, yeah, we've got a few coming in. David said image creation and wordsmithing and idea submission, which I think reflects what we're seeing as well. Gail said we're starting to use AI for helping campaign participants ideate. It helps introduce them to Ford Motor Company in this context. So yeah, there's a few here to read through, but maybe we can respond in the chat and cover it a little bit more in the Q&A, because yeah, it's great to get some input, but it's difficult to to cover it all in the short time we've got. We want to save some time for the Q&A as well, and there's still a few more slides, so keep them coming, guys. We'll discuss them in the Q&A session.
Okay, so then I move on because I also want to give you some further information on those organizational requirements. So some sort of implementation strategies you could follow when implementing AI. And here we identified that in prompting, contextualization is actually key for output quality. And here you could either follow systemic prompting. This is what Qmarkets does, meaning you run predefined prompts in the backend, which are very contextualized to particular input. For instance, when evaluating an idea, it considers industry, target group, or region. If you do not have the Qmarkets software, you can follow the principle of manual prompting, meaning you have to equip your users with the particular skills and contextualization abilities. Then what we also identified is this generalization when employing AI. And here we always speak of AI as a general purpose character. Meaning companies need to engage in general activities to either educate or empower the employees to use AI in general. And here, first, you need to ensure you have an AI adaptive company culture. This can be done by training employees, like one company did in our mini case studies that we explored. And you need to ensure that you have an AI inclusive ideation policy. This is particularly important in Germany, for instance, where we have a very, very strong work council. So you need to ensure that AI does not, for instance, harm any employees or employees would have any disadvantage from it. And then another principle that is very important is connected data. And here we would recommend a half-open approach. That means that the AI learns from the richness of outside data, that the AI is also fed with internal company data. And this is also a latest insight I got from a company that currently only uses outside data to prompt their AI, and they also already get some quality limitations when it comes actually to the output of the prompts. Yeah. And here in the end, some key takeaways. So you got to know 5 AI agents that address 5 core pains, namely the inspirer, stylist, matchmaker, analyst, and organizer. And according to my opinion and from the research I did, Qmarkets stands out as a very, very advanced platform when it comes to using AI in ideation systems. Further, I believe that you can use those 5 pains and AI agents also as a framework and a universal guide for other tasks and roles. For instance, when you think about an HR manager, as an HR manager, you need to ensure that you have attractive, appealing job postings. So you need to have the stylist. Or when you want to find particular employees with active sourcing, you need to tackle the search pane. So I think this could be used as a universal framework of using AI across different roles or tasks as sort of a starting point for clustering or categorizing it. Further, I think that even though it has a lot of benefits, AI should be used thoughtfully, as there are some downsides and also unintended effects that are not very well researched and explored yet. And here, this brings us actually to a new research topic, which I would like to share with you, because we are working on another research paper and we would be highly interested in your experience on using AI. It could be in idea management or any other topic. And we would like to understand whether AI has particular downsides or negative effects. Especially, we are interested in whether AI harms learning and could even cause some loss in particular learning skills. And it could be that those skills are relevant for us in the future. Yeah. So in case you are interested in participating in such a discussion, please feel free to contact me via email or on LinkedIn. And I think here we are now at the end of the session and have some
Yeah, just as a reminder, our competition will be lasting a whole week. You don't have to rush to publish anything ASAP, but the longer it's live for, the more likely it is to get some likes. So we'd love to see those coming in. Here are a few examples. On the left, I think that one was Superman inspired for anyone who saw that movie. It's yeah, it's not innovation related, but yeah, everything can be borrowed for this theme. So yeah, looking forward to seeing your suggestions. And I think we can move on to the Q&A, right, guys?
Yes, for sure.
So yeah, I did save that great question that we had in the chat. So I'll start with that. And it mentions that the approach presented so far is based on ideas being generated by employees, customers, and suppliers, etc. But what about identifying the problems worth solving first? Leveraging AI to understand user jobs, needs, pains, market opportunity sizing, growth trends, competitors, before you get to the ideation. So maybe this is one for you, Joel. You can take a shot at that.
Yeah, so basically what we were looking at was mainly idea management, less the broad innovation management. But of course, all these agents, they come in the full innovation ecosystem. So when we talk about market consumer trends, when we talk about business needs, when we talk about partnerships with startups or with vendors, etc., for our innovation programs, then of course all of these agents are very relevant as well. And I hope we could see it a bit in maybe the matchmaker is coming in there, that is actually matching the different types, the actual needs coming from one business unit to an idea coming from another one that has not been even knowing that this business unit exists. It happens all the time among our clients. But then also when managing this actual need, we do have a module for need management. We do a model for startup collaboration, etc. And within this model, of course, there are also all these 5 agents are running full time.
Yep, exactly. I shared a link actually to the previous webinar we did on the AI enhanced technology scouting, and that's obviously very relevant to this because that can be a great place to start your ideation from. If you're looking at the solutions and the new startups and technologies outside of your company, you can then ideate around that once you identify some good technology or good potential for innovation. So be sure to check that one out. We're offering a free trial of that product actually as well. So hopefully some people can benefit from that. And anything you want to add there, Selina, or shall I move on to the next question?
No, I think we can move on with the next
Okay.
question.
Great. So for organizations just starting their AI journey in innovation, what's the recommended crawl, walk, run approach for adopting AI agents to ensure successful implementation and user adoption?
Okay, this is actually quite a big question, but my recommendation would be, since every organization is a little bit different, to follow the approach we used, identify what are the pains of the stakeholders in your organization. And then I would start with the pain or AI agent that might be most severe. So I would not think about doing everything right away, but start with one impactful pain and make a success story out of it. And I think this really, really helps with adopting it across the organization. And then you can actually move on. But I think there's a need to go inside your organization, understand your users, and ask them simply, what are your pains and how could AI help here? And actually, you can use the framework we developed as categorization for these pains. I hope this helps to answer it.
Nice. Yeah, that's a great place to start. I know that there's a lot of obstacles and hurdles to jump over with implementing AI internally. So it helps to start and then measure the results and have something to show. Yoel, anything you want to add on that point? We are coming close to the end, so maybe we've got time for one more question.
Yeah, no, so this is exactly what we see. Most clients, of course, they are not there yet. They're big enterprises, global enterprises, and they have yet to get their AI policy. So we are helping them, first of all, to crawl. And that's how our platform is also defined. We don't say crawl, we basically say fast, wide, deep. That's our motto there. And this is exactly how our services are set up as well.
Maybe I can add something, because I have talked to an organization and they prompt for the evaluators a pre-idea evaluation. And they thought that would help them in evaluating the ideas, but they did never ask actually the evaluators if they need this feature. And I think this is important, to not push the features towards the stakeholders, but ask them what pains and needs they actually have.
Yeah, those are great points. I do want to ask this one final question because it's an interesting one, and it is, can you set up a fully automated idea workflow with AI pushing the idea from generation to implementation? I don't know if we've got time to go into much detail on that, but Yoel, it would be interesting to hear your thoughts there, I think.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Definitely, as we saw before, it is all over the journey. That's within the idea management. But if you take a look at the full ecosystem of what companies are dealing with, from the first need of a business, from the initial signal of a trend from the market or from consumer side, where it typically starts, all the way through scaling real new products, innovative products. And this is what it answers all through the way.
Cool. Sounds good. Well, we could talk for a lot more around these topics, I'm sure, but we don't want to keep you guys any longer. So thank you so much, Selina and Yoel, for joining us today. Really appreciate the research you've done around this topic, Selina, and I'm sure our audience does as well. We'll be sure to share the recording of this in an email shortly, along with the slides and any other relevant materials. And hopefully we'll see some of your posts on LinkedIn. And yeah, one lucky winner will get the $200 and $50 for the runner-up. So yeah, keep an eye out and stay connected. We love to have you with us on these. We're doing another webinar next month, so hopefully we'll see you there. And enjoy the rest of your summer, everyone. Thanks, Yoel. Thanks, Selina.
Thank you for hosting.
My pleasure. Take care, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.